Hello, this is a new episode of Cambridge Institute channel, and as you probably guessed, today I'm going to be talking to you about that curious and often misunderstood British habit of tea drinking. For a Brit, life without a cuppa is quite frankly unimaginable. Tea drinking is an integral part of our daily routine as breathing. The first thing we do when we step through the door from holiday is make a cup of tea. The first thing we do in the morning is to put the kettle on and make a cup of tea. We are convinced that no other nation can make a brew like we can. We consider it rude if our host doesn't offer us a tea upon arrival. We discuss our joys, sorrows, news and problems and difficulties over a cup of tea. Don't be alarmed if you witness a Brit drinking up to 10 cups of tea a day. In fact, since the 18th century, the United Kingdom has been one of the largest per capita tea consumers in the world. But what on earth is tea, I hear you cry? Well, there are a whole host of different varieties of tea consumed both in the UK and all over the world, but the tea I'm talking about here is English breakfast tea. Now, most of us Brits drink tea by adding water boiled in a kettle to a mug or pot with a tea bag in it, and adding a small amount of milk and some sugar. Whether or not one adds sugar and milk, and the quantity of these items, or uses a cup made of porcelain with a saucer or a plain old mug, is a matter of debate, and according to some, social class. Meanwhile, in the presence of tea being made for guests, you will not be likely be far from a fierce debate over whether to add milk before the water is poured or afterwards. Personally, I'm a builder's brew kind of tea drinker. That is, a strong but adequately milked cuppa with 2 sugars. But I have friends that wouldn't be seen dead with me as I add my milk and my sugar like a builder. So what about cream tea? The tea consumed in fancy porcelain cups with a dainty little teapot, a gold-embellished cake stand filled with a delightful assortment of sandwiches and scones with clotted cream and jam and all that fancy stuff at 5 p.m? Yeah, that's largely a stereotype. Unless you're a member of the aristocracy or the Queen or something. But you certainly will be able to partake in this wonderful experience at a quaint traditional tea room in the UK if you so wish. So where does this bizarre custom of tea drinking originate? Tea first appeared in the 17th century in the UK, where it became a very fashionable drink among the rich, higher social classes, drunk in coffee houses by wealthy businessmen and at home at tea parties for the women. Owing to the costly price of tea, the majority of British people couldn't drink it. Only much later in the 1750s did tea become more widely available. And now tea can be enjoyed in many different ways by people from all social classes. So put the kettle on and have yourself a nice cup of tea.